Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to today's live session. I'm very excited for the amazing conversation that we are going to have today because finally you are going to learn to break free from your limits, to break free from those thoughts and ideas that have been holding you back for no reason at all. Because I've often seen this in the coachings that I've done, in the conversations I've had with hundreds of people by now. It's not the problems in their life that are keeping them stuck. It's not the challenges or the outer circumstances. Rather, it's the world they're believing in within. And the moment that world within changes, everything outside completely transforms. And today, I want to explore with you the possibility of transforming that internal aspect. And not just that, but what actually holds us back from doing that? What's the fear that keeps us from actually taking the action that leads us to become our best selves? And it's quite interesting. It's different than what you may usually think of, like fear of failure or something else. It's actually none of that. It's something that's at the core of our experience as human beings. But the moment we can learn to leverage it for our success rather than let it be a barrier to our growth, everything in life starts to change. And that's why I want to begin with a wonderful quote here that has, I would say, there are very few quotes that stick with me for a lifetime. But this one quote will definitely always stick with me. Since the first time I read it in 2024, it's been more than 2 years now, I've never forgotten this wonderful line by Marianne Williamson. And she said, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I'll repeat it again. It's a beautiful quote, and I really want this to sink in deep with you. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, it is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I still remember when I read that word in her book. I think the book is called A Return to Love, A Course in Miracles. Beautiful book. If you have not read it yet, go get it. I 100% recommend it to everybody that comes my way because it's an incredible book. So I'll tell you exactly how I felt right now. It's my own book that I have on the desk because, of course, an author will always have his own book on his desk. But, like, for example, I was reading the book over here. I was on the pages and I just stopped for a few seconds because it was a revelation that I really needed to hear. We so often use the wonderful excuse, oh, I'm just not capable. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I've got it. All these other people, they've got it. I have not. And the moment that's going on in my head and the moment that's going on in our minds, we start to believe our incapability, our fear of failure, the side that we can't make it is the real reason we hold ourselves back. But actually, it's not. Actually, the real reason we hold ourselves back is because we know deep down if we really go all in, there's no stopping us. There's nobody who can come in your way and say, oh, hey, you can't do this, by the way. You will make it happen. You know you have that power within you. The problem is you're scared to tap into that power. The reason you're scared to tap into that power is simple. Because if you tapped into it, if you actually took the actions towards it, then a lot of things in your life will change. And that change is what we are subconsciously not comfortable with at all. We want a better life. Don't get me wrong here. We do want a better life, but we don't want the change that it brings. So we would rather spend our years and our days believing that we're incapable of the change itself rather than accepting the fact that, oh, yeah, you know what? I am pretty capable. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to risk my comfort, my social status, and all these other things that don't actually matter, but we think that they matter. And in that is this idea that we must live our lives in a way that is socially acceptable. That idea is the reason we are afraid of our power. That idea and belief is the reason we stay in our limits. And the moment you can get rid of that idea, you are ready to do what Marion Williamson is saying. Rather than being afraid of the light, you can step into the light. Rather than being afraid of your capacity and your possibilities that are there for you in life, you actually step into them. And will that bring change? Of course it will. Will that change some people and situations around you? Of course it will. Will that make some people misunderstand you? Of course it will. But if you can be immune to that, and if you can work through that, and if you can take that as a sign that I'm on the right path, rather than thinking of it as I must be doing something wrong, you will be able to create the life that you want. Because 90% of us, we are living the same lives as everybody else. Our decisions are based on, oh, he got the 3 BHK house, I'm also going to get the 3 BHK house. They bought this car, I want to buy a car that's a bit above that. Oh, he got a job for 20 lakhs per annum. Let me try for something that's like 25 or 30 so I can be better than him. You see, in most of the dreams that we now chase as adults, it's about social comparison that leads our way. How are we in the position against other people? Are we conforming well enough or are we not? And here's the crazy part, okay? None of us want to be bold enough to take a risk and to actually, be an exceptional person. We want to conform, we want to match the social ideal, but at the same time, in the group that we are conforming with, we don't want to be just another person. We want to one up ourselves and show how much better we are than everybody else. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, we still want the approval of the groups that we are in. That's why we never take the risk to break our limits. The limits the group believes in, we will believe in them. And this group can be your company, it can be your friends, it can be your organization, it can be your family, it can be the city and country you live in. Any and all congregations of human beings is what I call groups. And we all have groups that we like to belong to. So if you want to belong to a certain group, will you risk outcasting yourself by believing in your possibilities if the group doesn't believe in the possibilities? You won't. No matter how hard you try, if you've not done enough work on yourself to build your own self worth up to a level when none of that matters to you, then logically, even if you know following your dreams is the right choice, you will still fall into the social trap. You will still start believing the limits that the group is believing in just because you don't want to be outcasted from the group. And this is not happening consciously, by the way. This is all happening subconsciously, but it's creating your limits. And that's what makes you afraid of your capability and your light. Because you know, if I believe in it, if I step into it, if I take action on it, I'm gone from the group. They're not going to accept somebody who's so bright, somebody who's taking so much action, somebody who's creating the most amazing life ever. And that's why staying in your limits feels easy. The way to change it is two things. First, either accept the fact you want to be in this group, either accept the fact that you're okay with mediocrity, or be willing to change the groups and step into your light, step into your power that already exists within you. Because I love this wonderful sentiment and wonderful perspective of looking at success. This has been said by Earl Nightingale, where he said very beautifully the opposite of success is not failure, it's conformity. And we are all acting like everybody else. And that's the reason we are continuing to fail and not succeeding at all. Because success, by its definition, means getting to the top 1%, the top 5%, the top 10% of any and every field. And I'm not just talking about money, I'm also talking about relationships here. Because think about it, most of the relationships that are around you, most of the couples that you see, are they really happy? Are they really living the best marriage that's there? They may show it, but are they? Of course they're not. And you know the reality. So if you surround yourself with that group, here's the crazy and scary part. You will literally manifest and create problems in your own relationship. So your relationship is not an anomaly to the group, and you will continue to sabotage the success that you are getting just so you can align with the identity and the level of clarity and love that exists in the marriages within your friend group, within the society section that you belong to. That's why you'll see some companies, some cultures, some sectors, those people have a lot higher divorce rates, while some other kind of business owners and employees. It's got nothing to do with the job. It's got everything to do with what is socially acceptable, what's the social norm, and it's all running subconsciously. So if you want a top 1%, the top 2% relationship where it's incredibly well going between you and your partner, And it's like people will look at you and think, my God, they got it right. Well, then you're going to have to be willing to accept the fact that a top 1% relationship takes the work to get into the top 1%. And the rules that are played out here, the petty fights that go on at this lower level, none of that's going to matter at that higher level. It's going to be strangely peaceful. But for those of you who like a bit of drama and flair in your relationships, it's going to be debilitatingly boring, because good relationships don't have lots of drama. Yes, I know TV serials and movies and songs have really filled our heads with this idea that great relationships are supposed to be full of romance and full of love and all that stuff. But no, look at the marriages that sustain, not out of force, but out of choice. And you will see it's built on mutual understanding, love, and respect, not the sparks. Because the sparks can last a while, the sparks can get you going. What really breaks the limits of a marriage and a relationship is the understanding of even the messy parts of your life. Now, this understanding is often not common with people in a certain age group, in a certain thinking bracket. And that's why, if you want top 1%, top 2% in any field, whether it's athletics, career, money, IT, writing, film business, whatever you may be chasing, even if you're a student and you want to be a top 1 or 2% student and get the best scholarships and get the best life, well, you've got to make the choices that break your limits. And for that, you've got to be willing to let go of the social default, to let go of this idea that I must fit in and I must conform and I must belong, and be okay with being your own person. That's the way you break your limits. Not with an affirmation, not with a simple trick, not with just a motivation that you can do it. No. Simply face the fact that I've been sabotaging my own power, and I know how much power I hold within. I know how much strength I have within. And the only reason I've been afraid is if I let it shine, it's game over for everybody else. You know this. I know you do. And that's why you've been holding back. I'm giving you the permission slip. Don't hold back. Go step into your power. Make it happen. You are here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. Live it. Who cares if the 99% doesn't understand? If you're aiming to be in the top 1%, you cannot expect the 99% to understand what you're doing. They are going to criticize, they are going to try to pull you down, because they don't want your success to become a reminder that their mediocrity is not a forced option but a choice. Because if you can rise from these ranks and still be with them every single day, they will have to face the reality that their life is their own doing, and they don't want to do that. That's why they're the 90%. They want to keep shifting the blame. So when your energy changes and when your position changes, you are going to change. The people around you might change. The social norm and the social structuring around you is going to change. And if it feels a bit challenging for some of you here, because if you're also used for the approval and the love and the support of other people, right? If it's feeling challenging, let me tell you this. Come close. This is important, okay? All social norms, all social norms are a hoax. They are a story. None of them exist. Yes, they're in our heads. Yes, they're in society, but ultimately they are a story. I'm not saying now go and say the constitution is a story, so I'm going to commit crimes and I'm going to be free because the constitution is a story. It's a social norm set by the world. No, that's not what I'm saying. Use common sense, okay? And when you use your common sense, you will realize half the, not half, 90% of your limits are just not real. And when you realize nothing's going to go wrong if I actually believe in myself, oh my God, the freedom you get, the positivity you get, the comfort with failure that you get, that makes you different. It gives you that energy that takes you to the next level. Like for me personally, it was a pretty big risk socially, considering I'm a teenager when I was 14 when I published my first book, Explore the New You. For people at that age, social acceptance is like at peak. Everybody wants to be cool. And I was taking the risk of writing a non-fiction book at a time half the people weren't even aware non-fiction, what is non-fiction? That's what the state of most of my classmates was. And then from that level, I chose to take the risk of writing the book. Not only writing the book, publishing the book, that too with just a 50-day deadline. And I did it. I made it happen. Not that I said, I don't think I can do it. 50 days? Can it really happen in 50 days? Can I really make it a bestseller? I made it a bestseller. I didn't think of it, but I made a world record with it as well. The world record came after the publication when I realized, oh, wait a minute, I might just be the youngest one to make this happen. We found out I was the youngest one. Now that got me a world record, a bestseller status. It got me started in my career. My only question is, if I'd been afraid of what my friends would think, if I'd been afraid of, I don't know, writing a book's too hard, and I'd given myself that excuse, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be talking to you today. So the reason I'm able to be a coach at 19, the reason I'm able to have a business that keeps me financially independent, the reason I became an author and a world record holder is because I realized all these limits are just not real. They're in your head. And the moment you break free from them, the power you align, the power you get, the potential and the light you step into, incredible. I mean, try it for yourself, okay? Just go ahead and try it. Break free from this limit. Allow yourself to fully believe. What will happen at max? You will fail. For me, what would have happened at max? Book would not have been published. But at least I would have tried, right? And that trying is where success is. Because 90% of people don't even try. So if you're taking the action, you're already ahead. Congratulations. Now you have my blessings. Go ahead, make it happen, take some action. And that's your assignment for today. Think about what action you can take. What would you do if these crazy, unnecessary social limitations and ideas and conformity barriers just didn't exist? I leave that up to you, and I'll see you once again tomorrow at the same time, that is 8:30 p.m. IST, with another session that provokes your thoughts a bit, that gets you thinking, and that helps you realize where you may be just going a bit wrong so you can come back on track and create the best life for you, create your breakthrough. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.